So today, for part three of It's Done, I want to talk to you about your decisions. So many times we can make decisions based off of what someone else might want for us. When you look at like people that have children and raise their kids, because don't have kids or whatever, but I think about parents sometimes pushing their children to make the decisions that the parents want the children to make. And these kids grow up and sometimes can be very resentful. When I think back to different decisions in my life, one thing that I can honestly say is that I made the decisions that I wanted. Now, were they always helpful decisions? No. Did they all turn out to be like the best result? No. But guess what? Some of them did. When I look back, even with like these different marriages, I can literally say like every marriage that I had, there always was somebody that was like, no, like, don't do it. But I didn't care, because I take what people maybe say, but like, I feel like, I'm praying, I'm seeking God, I'm seeking counsel, whatever, and all of the things. And so I'm like, at the end of the day, I have to deal with the consequences of my own decisions. Now, I done took myself through a lot of stuff, and thankfully that I'm still here, right? Thank the Lord. Because when I look back and I remember like I'll say even this, I had a friend of mine tell me this, I don't know how you went through those divorces. I couldn't deal with one, but it's the strength of God that kept me through it all. I'm thankful that even when I look back at some of those unhealthy decisions, that one, I never had a baby with any of them. So when it was over, thank God, but it's like they were my decisions. So a lot of times we have to make sure that the decisions that we're making them because we want to make them. Because so many times we can make decisions according to what other people want. And then we have to be careful the flip side of that, because what might happen is if you're trying to make somebody make a certain decision, they're going to turn around and be blaming you if the outcome doesn't come out good. But when you make that decision for yourself, you can't blame nobody. You recognize yourself. You know what? Maybe that wasn't a helpful decision. Maybe that wasn't the best decision, but we learn from it, we grow from it, and we try never to do it again, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all going to make good decisions and we're going to make bad decisions, right? Or unhelpful decisions, like my therapist tell me. So we have to make sure, but they're ours. Own the decisions that you make, right? Make sure that you made them because you wanted to make them. And if it doesn't work out the way that you wanted it to, it's okay. We all make unhelpful, decisions periodically, and it's okay. God shows us different things through those decisions. But if we fear making the wrong decisions all the time, we're never gonna make a decision. When I think back to even me, I was with my old job, I should say now, for like 9 years. And I battled a lot of stuff toward the end. And it was as if I was so content. Because like the Bible said, be content in all things, y'all. I was so content. And it's like God had to make things so ugly for me and like literally had to push me out of the door to go, because I was so content. And at 48, like having to start all over, learn a new job, learn a new supervisor, learn all of those things. And I was just like, man, I'm not for it. But God had a better plan. I'm not sure what it all entails, but I trust his plan and I trust his will for my life. And it's my decision. Though, sometimes we seek advice from different people, but you have to make that decision that you're most comfortable with, where you feel that God is leading you. Because just because something is the will of God doesn't mean that it's always going to be smooth sailing, right? But I trust him and I know that he orders my steps, and I'm a child of his. I'm a daughter of the king. And so he's going to make every crooked path straight. And so no matter what you're dealing with, you make the decision that you want for you. And do what you think and have prayerfully, talk to the Lord about to make that decision and make it and own it, whether it turns out good or not. Just know it's going to work out for your good. So my question to you would be, are you making those decisions for yourself or because someone else wants you to make those decisions? That's your food for thought, because we're going to have to make our own decisions, y'all. We're grown and we have to make them. It's good to get advice and opinions from different people with a different perspective, but at the end of the day, own your own decision. Amen. Amen. So today I leave you with this. Psalm chapter 25, verse 4 and 5. And it says, show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth and teach me. For thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I want all the day. So before I go, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, check out my website at www.talkswithshay.org. You can subscribe to my videos on YouTube and find me on Facebook. Like my page, share my page, invite your friends to like my page. And until next time with Talks with Shay, Shay is out. Y'all stay blessed.